Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Helena. I am joined here today by designer Andrea Chiarvesio and producer Thiago Aranha. How are both of you? Let's start with Andrea.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to see you here.
In case you are a newcomer, I don't know, maybe people are joining us for the first time. Andrea is the designer for all seasons of Marvel United, right, Andrea?
Yay!
So you've been working on this for the past
Like
5
5
years.
years, something like that. Yeah, for 4 years and a half.
Yep.
It's been a lot of fun. Lot of fun.
What about you, Aranha? Also the producer for all seasons.
Yes, I've been working on this for 155 years. If you put together all the timelines, which we are merging at this point. But yeah, in this timeline, only about five.
In this timeline. Well, but we are about to enter the multiverse,
Exactly.
which is what we're talking about today, right? So how are you guys? We are less than 1 week away from the campaign launch. It will be next Wednesday, the 18th.
I
So
am very excited to jump into Marvel United. It's I think probably the my favorite game to work on and play with. It's been loads of fun. We've done like lots of amazing stuff, and it's very exciting to be able to bring even more amazing stuff to this line.
I can't wait. It's so hard to stay quiet and don't talk about it. I,
Yeah, and there's so much to talk about. So
yeah,
nope.
no.
I saw a comment here, but now I lost it. Oh, here it is. Your shelf just looks amazing.
Huh? Huh?
So
Yeah.
jealous.
This is a pretty collection. I really enjoyed seeing all of them lined up like that.
So we have lots to show you guys today. We will also be taking your questions during the live stream. So if you have questions, just drop them there. We'll address them as we go. But first things first,
Let's start at the
we
beginning.
let's start at the beginning. And we do have a trailer, a not seen before one that we are excited to show you. So let's get to that.
So I kind of miss hearing people talking back. I want to hear the comment section, like in my ear. I just yeah, I hear screaming. Okay, Kanji Studios, I hear you screaming. I'm excited as well.
So lots to unpack here. Let's get right to it.
Step by step.
Step by step. Yeah, we'll go through as much as we can of the basic things, trying to avoid spoilers, trying to avoid slips of the tongue, because there's so much secret information just under the surface that try to focus.
Try to focus. So this is the multiverse. The TVA is behind us. We are now entering the multiverse. What's in this box? What can you tell us about it? Okay, we are in a standoff situation.
We have so many great heroes, 3 incredible villains, 1 exciting anti-hero with Cosmic Ghost Rider, brand new mechanics like the equipment, the new solo mode. I mean, a lot of new things just for a core box.
It's really fun because we have the whole multiverse theme to the campaign and to this core box, and so this allows us to make like alternate versions of characters and all that. But it's kind of weird because someone was asking, "Oh, how many alternates are there in this box in the campaign and whatnot?" And it's kind of hard for me to remember that someone is an alternate, because I know when I look at Captain Carter, for me, she's Captain Carter. She's not Captain America, but a woman. She's Captain Carter. And same thing with Ironheart and Shuri and Mighty Thor. Like, they are their own characters. So even though like they are versions of previous characters, they are very much their own things. And I think that's the theme with a lot of what we're bringing. There are very few that I would say are alts, in the sense that I think we saw much more alts in the X-Men campaign, where we kind of have more like the different versions of the same character than here, which is really different incarnations, like different realities, different timelines of some characters that come back. And of course, there are brand new things as well to cover. Lots of ground to cover.
Yeah. Okay, so first things first. That is the base set. So this is a new core box, correct?
Exactly. Yeah, you always start with a core box. We always want to make sure people coming in have an entry point to the series, so they can discover it and then expand into whatever else they would like to add. And the fact is, like, a core box from Marvel United doesn't really require all that much like extra material, because it's really all about the characters, be them heroes or villains. But because we're adding new mechanics, we're expanding the base gameplay. Like, it had to be a core box to allow us to introduce these new twists to the game and make sure that they work from the foundations of it.
Something very important, I think, to say is that we haven't changed any game rules. We are just adding options. We're just adding modes. We're just adding things that you can choose to use or not. But the game, Marvel United, as you know it, has not changed by a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Yeah.
So let's see what's inside.
Yeah, it's a little glimpse. As you can see, it's Marvel United, looking as colorful as ever. Amazing artwork by Edouard Guiton and some other collaborators as well, helping us with like the action cards and stuff like that. And yeah, amazing sculpts by Big Child Creatives, and designed by this guy and his troupe.
Here we can see, it'll be familiar for lots of people, but we can see new locations. The dashboard is like the one the one in the previous boxes. Yeah. So it's a cool new entry point. If you don't have any other Marvel United, you can get this, right?
Yeah. All the basics are the same. It's little twists here and there.
And you get the TVA headquarters with this set. So
We have lots of very cool locations, and I think mechanically very interesting as well. I think as far as like the core box locations, so we have like places like Niflheim and Muspelheim, which like they have a permanent effect on them, like whether there's a threat there or not. They have like kind of an extra layer of danger and decision making that you need to do if you decide to go there or not. So it is like kind of the next level of Marvel United, while still keeping it the same kind of streamlined, fast-paced action game.
Well, shall we take a look at the heroes that come in the score box?
Yes.
Here they are. So some of these, personally, I've seen requested a lot. And my highlight will go to Loki. Ever since the first campaign, the Loki fans were like,
Loki was a big request from the very beginning of season 1. People were asking, "Oh, I want to play Loki as a hero," and at the time he was much more of a villain. But he's become more and more popular as a hero in the minds of people. So like we knew we just had to like just make him a full-on hero here, and I love his presence in the miniature and the art, and I really love what you guys did with the mechanics. He's a very devious kind of hero, doing his trickeries that you would expect him to, right?
Yes. Yeah. And who else are we seeing here?
Well, also kind of in that vein of kind of like listening, because we've been doing this for a while. We've been interacting with people for a while. We've been hearing feedback and requests for a while. So also like we have Spider-Man 2099 in the original suit this time, which like was a big request when we unveiled the Spider-Man 2099 in the new white costume on season 1. So we knew we wanted to bring like the classic incarnation of him in a very cool pose with a big spines sticking out of his arm and a weird kind of webby cape. So yeah, that was a cool one to work on.
And he was the opportunity to explore a new design space for Spider-Man 2099. So that was pretty interesting to design too.
I do have him here.
Oh, cool.
Oh, let's take a look. Hello, that's a really cool mini. I love the cape.
Yeah, and also whenever we do a kind of one of these kind of crouching poses, it's nice to kind of elevate them with a nice base, so they like don't disappear among the other minis. So always need to consider the table presence of a miniature, because it's not just art; it's a 3D thing on the table. And I think I really like, in terms of an action pose, I really love Captain Carter running through the battlefield. You have kind of a kind of a World War II battlefield on her base with concrete kind of tank traps, and she's real. Like I really love how dynamic she is with her little.
And I really love the hair.
British shield there.
Sure. I see an interesting question here. Can I just get that really quickly?
Sure.
This core box will bring the supervillain mode cards, or do I need the X-Men core box?
Yeah, supervillain mode will be included.
Yeah,
so
it
you don't need another core box. Core box is a core box for this reason. You have everything you need.
Yeah, supervillain mode has become a kind of a basic mechanic from Marvel United. So it's the same mode. It remains here. It's been incorporated into Marvel United. It's not an X-Men specific thing.
Okay, let's see who else we have there.
I have Ironheart.
Ironheart.
Also a very nice dynamic pose.
Yes.
And if I can be allowed a moment of personal kind of fanboyism, I think ours looks a lot better than the one in the film. I do hope her costume in the TV show is a bit improved. I was not a big fan of her costume in the film, even though I like the character. And speaking of that film, we also have our Shuri Black Panther.
You really went all out on the capes in this one.
Yeah, the winds are blowing in the multiverse.
Really cool.
And yeah, again, like a nice kind of thematic African base there, kind of some ancient things, and yeah, again, very dynamic pose. And I have Mighty Thor calling up the thunder on her little plinth. Again, dynamic cape. I really like the stance, power stance.
Yeah, really good line.
Yeah, runes all over the base.
Just watch that movie and oh, Andrea left.
Well, okay, who needs them anyway?
He'll be back, I'm sure.
I'm sure he will
Just
back.
watched Love and Thunder, and oh my god, so cool! So excited to have Mighty Thor.
Yeah. And is there, yeah, okay? Have I shown? Yeah, we have our devious little Loki walking down the Asgardian steps
And he's back.
with
Hello.
his like, oh, there he is, Mister.
We were sure you'd return.
We couldn't make it without you.
Yeah, Loki hero. Which yes, he would totally have been an anti-hero if we had that thing on season 1.
Well, in a way, it's kind of cool that it wasn't, because I think it's nice to have like this.
Yeah.
The more modern take on Loki for his heroic version, while we have the more classic, the huge horn and scepter for the villain version. And
I'm happier this way.
But speaking of anti-heroes,
yeah,
we have
Cosmic
Frank Castle in his very unorthodox incarnation as Cosmic Ghost Rider. Really love this look. The mix of Ghost Rider and Spaceman and Punisher and all that has his. I don't know if you see the little piles of skulls on his base, because he is not a very nice guy.
True. Very cool look.
Oh yeah, someone asking about Baby Thanos for Cosmic Ghost Rider. Well, we couldn't get it in the mini, but we do have him on one of the card arts. Like I really wanted to have him with Baby Thanos strapped to his chains and riding around. Then final ones, we have Immortus floating in space and time on his rocks. I really like the space with the floating rocks.
Fun fact, we were going to make Immortus into one of those images where we put the shadow and like, who's this guy? Can you guess, etc. But we didn't, because the hack just gave it away
immediately. Yeah.
Immediately.
And we have Emperor Doom sitting on his vine throne.
Yeah.
So cool.
It was a nice comment. I think it was in the Quackalo video. Like, if the bad guy is just sitting there, you know you're in trouble.
Oh, you definitely are.
But also, if the bad guy is menacing you, you are also in trouble. Yeah. So here we have Maestro, and yeah, people have been asking about his base, and yes, he does have trophies from his conquests on his base. I spot Mjolnir there. Some helmets piled up. Yeah, there is a bunch of plunders from his
Easter eggs for people to find. There is a question that I keep seeing, so let's get to it. Okay. Will we be able to add some old expansions from other Kickstarters?
We'll be able to add some more.
The $1 million question.
Yeah. So this is a recurring question, and okay, so let's go into a bit of a side tour here. So the thing is, to be first direct answer is that's not in the plans as of right now. We're focused on Multiverse, and the thing is, the reason why we kind of went into this whole thing with X-Men of including past things was because at the time it had the decision had been made that none of the expansions were going to be hitting retail except for Spider-Verse, I believe. So talking to the distributors and Spin Master, that was the case. Nothing was being produced for retail. So we said, like, come on, we cannot bring a phase 2 and not allow people who are discovering the game right now, because the game had grown leaps and bounds since the Kickstarter up to the start of the X-Men Kickstarter. So it's okay. Let's bring it back. Let's allow people to buy everything through the Kickstarter, since it's not going to hit retail. And then there were a couple exclusive boxes in that campaign, which we brought back as well. And so that's why we kind of managed to make that happen. As of right now, like as far as previous stuff, it's a lot, which is logistically very complicated. It raises a lot of issues. So yeah, that is the situation. This stuff is around. I'm very happy that very recently, finally, we were able to things changed, and now the season 1 expansions are hitting retail finally, after 2 years or more. Finally, that situation changed. They were never exclusive to begin with, but now they're finally actually being sold in stores. Of course, without the exclusive promos that the backers got.
Okay. Now, a different question. This one's for Andrea, I think. Can you talk about backward compatibility with seasons 1 and 2?
Absolutely. Season 3 is totally compatible backwards with season 1 and 2. There will be a few usual restrictions on the team versus team mode that was introduced in the blue and gold X-Men set. So a few villains can be played in that mode. But except for that, you are free to mix and combine anything you want. I mean, United was always conceived as your play pool,
sandbox.
Yeah, your sandbox. Yeah, you put things together, you put them together any way you want. So it's, I mean, it was implied when I said we change no rules, and it's going to stay that way.
Yeah, it's really impressive, because the rule book, like the changes are just like refinements in wordings, and let's kind of explain this in a different way to avoid any mistakes that people might be making, or to make sure this works with this mechanic. But the rules themselves are the same. You learn the game, and you just add twists here and there, and you keep playing. Should we go back to the slideshow?
Yes, we already showed the villains, so let's just see their renders in all their glory. And I see people asking, I can't find a specific question now, but people asked a lot about the new mechanics, and we'll talk about that.
Let's go there.
Let's go.
Yay! Well, that's one of the biggest new thing for the campaign. So now some heroes will have their own equipments they start the game with. And as you see, the equipment will tell you when it can be used. Most of them are used in your turn. Some of them, like Mjolnir, are specifically used in a step of your turn. Some other, like Captain Carter Shield, can be used either in your turn or during a villain turn. And there will be other things that I will not tell you about. Most equipment can be recharged, so they have a second side. So once you use it, you see turn this face down at the bottom of all equipments, and some of them can be recharged. Let's say most of them can be recharged, but the way they can be recharged is kind of different from equipment to equipment. And pretty unique. I don't want to spoil too many mechanics, but I think it's a great addition to the game and makes every hero with achievements feeling even more iconic and even more like being that hero.
Yeah, it's a great thematic addition to have that, as well as just giving players. It's not about making the heroes more powerful. It's about giving the player more options of what to do on their turn. Because again, the equipment, it's a limited use. Like usually, like you use them, and it's not that easy to recharge them and to do specific things, which you're sacrificing actions you could have taken in other ways. So whether you're going to play it in order to use your equipment more, or you could just kind of use it once, and that gave me a little boost at one point, and that's fine, and you move on without recharging it. And again, not all equipment can be recharged. some have like different twists to them. So yeah, and just like having that extra little bit of flavor there, I think really helps the game.
Of course, we are getting all sorts of questions asking for equipment cards for seasons 1 and 2. And while we won't be confirming or disconfirming anything right now, do you have anything to say about that?
I have to say we have a long campaign ahead of us in which I think lots of things can happen.
Oh, so sorry, this one made me laugh. Will the Kickstarter come with a bigger house for all my boxes? Unfortunately, we're not in that market yet.
You know, shipping would be quite impressive.
Can you imagine?
But you see, there is a great storage solution by IKEA behind Thiago. So
Yeah, it doesn't travel all that well, but you know, it keeps.
Okay, and I've seen a lot of questions about our new solo mode. So shall we get to that?
yeah,
Yes.
So this is a bit harder to follow. So just for starters, we already had a solo mode in the original box. What's the difference here?
yeah. Here you are basically using a single figure, a single hero. It's you as the commander facing the villain 1-to-1. So it feels more like you are really playing alone against the villain, but you have a team of supporting heroes. You choose 4 different heroes, and you take 3 special action out of those hero decks, and you make a special support deck. And the support deck you will be using during the game as if it's like a second player coming to help you. Some turns you will have to play your own turn, like in regular Marvel United, but sometimes other heroes will jump out and help you. The other extra thing we have in the Commander Solo mode is a budget for battle plan cards. You see the battle plan cards in this slide at the bottom left, and I don't think those were ever mentioned, so this is really new. Those are little help that you can spend some budget on those, so you get prepared to the confrontation with the villain. You can decide before starting the game how big is your budget in battle plan cards. You can even decide to play with no battle cards at all if you want a challenge, and you choose the one you like, and they are like powers that you will get for the whole game. I think it's a very unique take on United gameplay. It's really
Well, I think it is. It's a different way of playing a game. It's not trying to do the same thing that a normal game of Marvel United does. So it's focused on that one hero. That is the only hero miniature on the board, moving around, attacking, doing everything. But it just has kind of this backup support of there are other heroes kind of in the background that they may be helping you with stuff. So you play their cards, but you perform everything yourself. So you kind of the vessel to some of that support that's happening, and I think it adds kind of the pre-game is also quite fun, just to choose like which heroes are using which cards you're taking from which hero, kind of building synergies in your support deck, and then using that and then choosing when you use your support deck cards, when you use your own cards, alternating turns, but always using the same hero. And also like the overall flavoring that the battle plan cards do because they affect the whole game, changing a little bit how those support cards work and what they give you, and some bonuses and some different things you can do with them. And so like the whole game has that flavor depending on what cards you choose to use as your battle plan.
I think it's also. I think I should say that you must choose as support heroes 4 heroes that you have in your collection. So you use the regular cards that you will use in a regular game, and you just take the card out of those decks. While the battle plan are new cards included in the core set, and credit design for these are due to Francesco Rugerfred Sedda, who was also the designer of the other solo mode, with a huge help from Stefano Moscardini and Marco Legato, which are lead developers of the game.
Yeah, this was a big challenge in developing a new a whole new way of playing the game, making sure it works. Like it's not a simple thing by any stretch. It's not simple to make it simple, right?
Yeah.
True. Now I see a question here that is fun, and I think I'll, if I may, I'll just answer it myself. Will the minis have a cool fire/water effects like we saw in season 2 with characters like Firestar and more? And what I have to say is, oh boy, stay tuned.
Yeah, and I think I will say about those like special clear effects is the same thing I said before. Like, not everything that that you might think should be clear will be clear, because we're trying to keep things working and simple and within budget and feasible. So if whenever I look at the molding and the sculpts and I say, okay, you know what, this I can make a different part, I can make it clear, it will work. We do it. Sometimes we're able to push a little bit more, and sometimes if we do these in more parts, it's going to be too complicated. It's going to be too many pieces, and it won't really help the look substantially. So there are tough decisions that need to be made when choosing whether to do a clear part or not. But for the most part, whenever you like, oh, this needs to be clear, I think we're making things clear with different colors and different effects. And I think very soon we're going to show you some stuff.
And by very soon, we don't mean like in a week. We mean in 15 minutes or so.
Well, people, like, if you remember all the blur in the trailer, I think you already saw some.
Have you seen the trailer?
Some theory parts there.
Well, I think that covers what's in the core box, right? So
mostly.
We also announced something I'm sure everyone is excited to talk about Galactus, and we'll get there. But there's something else we announced this week that we just wanted to cover really quickly. So what are we looking at here?
So Spider-Gate, this is a big curveball in terms of the basics of how we do Marvel United in a campaign. So because this is a whole other core box based on Spider people, heroes, and the whole Spider-Verse, and well, it is a whole core box that will not be part of the Kickstarter at all. And so basically the idea is we're trying something new. So instead of doing like we always do, we did in the previous 2 campaigns of having a wave 1 where the core box comes out, you can pay extra shipping to get the core box in advance, and then you get all the rest of the Kickstarter a year later with everything else. Instead of doing that, we're doing a separate core box that would just go to retail at the time where wave 1 would be hitting. So basically, if you want to have something new to play around that time, just go to a store and buy directly. You don't have to worry about shipping. I know it's kind of weird, but for many people, the extra shipping price for doing the 2-wave shipping is more expensive than just buying a whole core box directly. So it didn't make a lot of sense. So we're trying something different with this box. We are pitching it to all our partners to make sure it's brought all over the world, localized in different languages as quickly as possible, brought to all the markets so everybody can have access to it. It is part of the phase 3, the multiverse wave. So like there are equipment cards for some of these heroes. Like it is following the latest stage of the rules, and bringing a bunch of Spider-Man. So what's not to like?
I can't wait to hear people comments after playing against Superior Spider-Man or with him as a hero, or playing Spider-Man Noir or facing the Spot. I just can't wait.
My favorite is Spider-Punk. I just love that character.
Oh yeah,
the mini is so fun. It's just such a weird thing. I don't know. I like the weird things.
Well, that does raise the question. Will all boxes in this campaign be exclusive?
No. For once, the multiverse box is not exclusive. It's going to be hitting retail, of course, and there will be expansions. There will be a bunch of things offered during the campaign. Some exclusive, some not. So yeah, a bit of everything.
Yeah, this is our first direct-to-retail release, but that does not mean that the campaign will only contain exclusives.
Right. Yeah, we're not dividing retail and Kickstarter. It's just that this is basically wave 1 is outside of the Kickstarter, hitting stores directly, and that's it. So I think we'll uh, talk and show more about this in the future months to come. Like, because it's not part of the campaign, we're not going to focus on Spider-Geddon right now. We have plenty of other things to show, and there'll be time to dive into the Spider-Verse later.
Yay! So of course now we move into the man, the legend, the man. That one, the coming of Galactus.
Yay.
Not sure. Anyway, okay. So what are we looking at here?
Well, again, this is another one. Like in phase 2, there was a lot of requests for Galactus. We even we toy like, should we push and go for it? Like, can we? Does it make any sense? And we all decided no. Like this, it would be too much. Like the whole X-Men thing is already. It was a huge campaign, a lot of stuff. I think, okay, no, I think we at that point you were already deciding, okay, I think we have enough drive here to push for a season 3 later on. So let's save the big guy for later, and then we can really allow him to have his place in the sun and really shine. So yeah, Galactus is coming, and he's hungry.
He's hungry. Well, Andrea, I'd like you to talk about the gameplay for this. I do have a fact shot here, and as you all can see, it's pretty different. So
Yes.
how does this play?
I mean, Galactus is a cosmic level of as a menace. So when we were thinking, okay, how can we do it? How can we have the heroes facing Galactus? It didn't feel right to have him going around locations, but like menacing the whole Earth. I don't know if you can see, but the locations are the 6 continents of Earth. And little fun fact.
Yes, designing that Earth was a very interesting challenge. We discussed a lot about what angle, how do we show this, how to show all the continents at the same time. And I think the final solution really works very well. You see the whole Earth, and even have the sun hitting on one side, and the other side is at night. So you see all the city lights shining. I think it looks great on the table, really building that perspective from Galactus' point of view. And if you can notice, if you look on the left there on Asia, you even have his shadow kind of hanging down,
Looming over
over part of it. That's not the shadow of the miniature, that's on the location itself. So trying to bring that flavor to the whole thing.
And can I mention, Thiago, the special rule for starting location for the heroes?
Yeah, of course. I think it's fine. It makes perfect sense.
This set has a special rule for your starting location. Your heroes will start from the continent you are actually playing. So if you're playing in the United States, you must start from North America. If you're playing your game in Germany, you must start from Europe. If you're playing online and several players are playing from different continents, you get to choose the continent you like most.
And if you are in the International Space Station, it's going to be
You can choose. You can choose. I mean,
exactly.
I would really love to see a playthrough from the International Space Station for this game.
Right.
And
the Galactus mode. Talk a little bit, because that is it's a very epic.
This is going to be a very epic game. Galactus' master plan is way bigger than usual. As you can see, he has no HP. You don't defeat Galactus. You go steal his nullifier from his spaceship, and you blackmail him with that. So there won't be the regular missions. Instead, there is a mission deck with all the steps you have to do. It's kind of, I mean, it's not a heist movie, but it's like a heist game against Galactus. You see that he's facing the continents and the locations, so you try to steal the nullifier from him when he's not watching and do your stuff. And he's there with his heralds plus some nasty surprises, trying to stop you and to end his master plan deck. And to answer the question I seen in the chat, yes, you can play Galactus as the supervillain.
Oh, I was going to pick that one.
Yeah. Tough for the heroes, you're in for a tough game, but yes, you can absolutely play him.
And to answer another question from the chat, the reason why Galactus is purple is just because Galactus is purple. He's not an
Yeah,
anti-hero.
no.
He's not a you cannot play him as a hero. But such a big thing. We had to do him in the proper kind of character color.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough. Pre-painted minis. Very cool.
Yeah, but I really like so you have this like the deck of missions and like it's a substantial kind of sequence of things that you have to do, and of course the order changes, so it's a very different feel. Like it's not like that linear thing. You kind of you have to build up. It tends to be a longer game, a very I think challenging and deadly game. Of course, Galactus is moving around, rotating, facing different continents, dealing his massive attacks and commanding his heralds and playing all this mischief.
I see a few questions here, of course, many, but will this box fit nicely next to the others?
Yes, it will. And so the good thing is, so let's talk size, shall we?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
If you could center on me.
Yes.
So of course, like we have done recently, like a very big Galactus because that's what that game called for. But for Marvel United, it's a different kind of experience, a different kind of game. So we knew we wanted to have something that was more within the scale of the characters there. But at the same time, it's Galactus. Like we knew we wanted to make him as big as possible within that framework of the game. So he is this big, which he is very impressive. He makes for a nice table display and lovely detail. It's a very substantial piece. And by the way, I love his base because what happened. So Guiton's artwork had him on top of this moon surface. But when I was talking to Andrea, he was saying, so we're discussing what should his base be like, and I told him, the art has him on the moon, so it will be a round base. But then, mechanically, it will make more sense for it to be a hexagon because you have all the locations around him. So we kind of landed on basically this portal, and it's teleporting the whole planet through a portal, which I think looks really awesome. And you can even see his footstep back there on the surface. Yeah, lots of detail. I really love the design. It's really impressive how Guiton adapts the chibi style to the scale of the character. Like it's very hard to give that sense of scale with the chibi style, but he somehow finds the right proportions to keep it within style, but really look awesome and cool. And it's just going to be a nice thing to have. And if you compare it to
yes,
a little hero, like this is Captain Carter hanging there. So yeah, he looks mighty impressive. Now I hear people asking, how does it compare to a Sentinel? So the thing is, basically, the Sentinel, of course, was the basis from which we started to find his scale. And the idea was to make the overall height kind of at least like 50% taller than a Sentinel. So if you line up their feet and discount a bit of the horns, that's basically it. So he's within that kind of Sentinel scale, but he is Galactus. He has to be a bigger, more impressive thing. So this means like the box where he comes in is the same kind of height as the other ones. It's just, of course, it has to be a bit thicker to fit the base, but it's not an absurd box. And because people, of course, I know a lot of people were afraid that we were going to do another Marvel Zombies Galactus.
No, this one fits in a Kallax.
So we've done this already.
There's an actual question asking exactly that. Yes, it does.
And it's funny because up to now our new Galactus looked very impressive, but when you put him there, then you realize like it's a whole different thing.
Yes.
So yeah, you don't have to worry about where you're gonna put your new Galactus.
It's like Galactus Mini-Me.
Oh, true. We can do a whole family photo, like Christmassy and everything.
Yeah, but when you go back to the game scale, yeah, he is huge. He is a huge thing. But yeah, so yeah, it's all a matter of scale.
Yeah. But yes. Don't mess with me or my son ever again. Yes, can't wait for all the pictures. He's also like in chibi proportions, so it all works out. It'll be great. Can't wait for all the fan photos you guys will send us.
Yeah.
But
And then yeah, go.
sorry, what are we going to show?
No, I was going to show he has his
The
heralds as well.
heralds.
All the heralds.
So he has Airwalker
Really cool.
and Firelord. And Terex, big guy.
Big guy, huge axe.
And finally, Nova, Frankie Ray.
Really cool model as well.
But I
Now
think-
those
I think-
are those are resins.
yes.
So to answer the question asked earlier, here are the renders in plastic.
Yeah, this is not to scale.
Oh yes, yes. If they were, they would be so tiny. You wouldn't even be able to see
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
it would-
really
it would-
cool,
It
clear
would be very
plastic
impressive.
details.
And yeah, but I think we can talk about the heralds as well, because that's I think as much a cool feature in this expansion as Galactus himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do these play, Andrea?
Well, each one of them can be played as its own individual villain, so you can face them alone. However, we design a very special mode where you can play against the 4 Herald of Galactus all together. And that's really special. It's they will play against you all together. It's way different from, like, for example, the Horsemen of Apocalypse. They work. This is like a villain that is made of 4 different villains, and you can even, if you want, try to see, since it's multiverse after all, how will it work if one of Galactus Herald was I don't know, Red Skull or Magneto or some other villain that you have in your collection. You can try to mix. We don't guarantee that all the combinations are going to work properly. So feel free to experiment, mix them any way you want, but many combinations will be a very interesting and unique challenge.
Yeah, I think it would be fun to see people kind of uncovering which combinations of any 4 villains from any season can be plugged into this mode, and see what surprises come up. Because basically they're using their own BAMs. They of course they're not doing the whole thing that they do on their own, but they're bringing some of their flavor to this game and interacting with each other, and it will create some interesting synergies. And again, yeah, sometimes you need to have some foresight to see what works with what. But I think it's a very interesting way to really open up the possibilities of bringing any hero and seeing how they interact on the table all together against you.
We promised you a lot of new ways to play Marvel United, and we are delivering, and the campaign has not even started. So,
yeah, this is the multiverse, so you can see all possibilities of the Heralds of Galactus.
Yeah. I think we can actually address some of the thought behind this whole phase 3 that we're starting right now is kind of like we realize that like we've already tackled like a lot of like the very well-known popular characters that people were craving. Most of them are here. Of course, there are many more, and every character is somebody's favorite. But one thing that we really wanted to focus on this campaign is focus a lot on the game. What can we bring to the table? What can we do with the system? What little twists and additions and modes, and just add a lot of fun and options to keep the game interesting, keep the game alive as you play with all these heroes well known or very niche, and that's also something fun. Like being able to do a season 3 of Marvel United allows us to go deep, do some deep cuts that like you wouldn't normally expect to see in a miniatures game, while also doing like the best versions of the popular heroes that we can.
Yeah. Oh, and quick clarification. Yes, the facing of Galactus matters a lot in terms of gameplay. Everything he does to the location and to the heroes and the location he's facing. So that's the main reason, the main gameplay reason of the hexagonal shape base.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his movement, he doesn't go around walking on the continents. He just turns towards the different continents and acts towards them. And it really matters what he's facing, what he's not facing. It changes what all the things on the board do.
Yeah, you can see how nicely that base fits here, like how satisfactory the exact size is. So, a few questions I'm seeing here. Will season 3 have more characters than season 2?
That depends a lot on you guys. We're doing our part. you guys do your part.
True.
Maybe, crazier things have happened.
I mean, there is a part of me that is fearing to have to go back to design table.
Yeah,
another part is really excited.
It was really funny because I was talking to the big child, the sculpting studio, and they were delivering the last files and the last things, and then they were asking me, when are we going to start doing the extra emergency things? I said, I don't know, but if that's good, that's going to be needed. Like we are well prepared, but stay on high alert. You never know.
A question I saw a few times. So, can you use the Silver Surfer from the Fantastic Four box as a herald?
Well, yeah, he's a villain, right?
He's not a villain.
No, he's not a villain.
So actually not. I mean, unless we'll see.
Oh, I see people requesting so many things. I love that when we're talking about Marvel, it's really fun that it's, as you said, everyone is someone's favorite. So
yeah, it's very interesting navigating like the and shout out to the Marvel fanatics in Facebook and then the Discord channel. It's interesting and sometimes a bit brutal navigating through their comments, but there's some interesting things come out of there.
We're probably at the end here, so let's get a few final questions. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. We only have a few minutes left. Let's see how many we can tackle. Will Spider-Geddon have a component upgrade option in the Kickstarter or somewhere else? Plastic
well, like I said, Spider-Geddon is part of the multiverse environment, so yeah, we're not going to forget about it.
Okay. Guys, we can't answer these things, but let's hear it from Aranha, shall we?
Okay. Here's a non-answer. Come on, give it to me.
How many expansions will there be? Okay, so maybe a way of not answering this, but maybe giving more information. How long will the campaign be?
The campaign will be 3 weeks. So, like the previous, I think they were all 3 weeks. So, in that sense, we're keeping to the same format, and which means, it should be relatively similar to previous campaigns. I think the biggest wild factor here is backers. Let's see how people react to everything that we bring. It's funny because I'm writing all the updates, preparing everything for the campaign, and it's so interesting when as I'm writing the update, I'm processing all the mechanics and translating them into text, and I get so excited just like hearing all these possibilities and how the themes translate into mechanics. And like I have to give kudos to Andrea and his team. Like they really did some very exciting things. Sometimes I would just like show my coworkers like look at this, look how they translated this effect. You know what? I know it's great.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Speaking of that, Andrea, United is a very big line at this point, and I'm sure whatever new things you want to add to the game needs to be thoroughly play tested. So how is that process now with the team?
Well, the process is we are way past 1,000 playtesting games for this season only. So really kudos to our playtesters, to the developers that are doing an amazing job for the last like 18 months or so. Because of course, the more things we add and the more we need to get sure, since everything is compatible, that it doesn't break the game, that it doesn't break the game modes. For sure, there are heroes that are stronger versus certain villains, some other that are weaker. I mean, nothing can. It will come out flat actually if we balance perfectly. If every hero had the same number of icons and equivalent power or number of action cards, the game would be flat and boring. So differences, like in real life, are what makes things interesting and cool.
Exactly.
So we want to preserve that, and on the other side, we try to keep everything working together. So it's fun because it's fun. We are Marvel fan working on a Marvel based game. So it's like your childhood dream coming true. So it's totally fine, but it's also very, very heavy. We all take 1 week off around Christmas because we were destroyed by all the playtest and development work being going on. No, Galactus is not the most difficult or complex boss of all season yet. Absolutely. No. I mean, no, it's challenging. It's going to be an epic fight. It's going to be really interesting, but it can be beaten totally. I think it's one of the more interesting. Yeah, that for sure.
You know, just the other day, I lost horribly to Ultron in the core box, so I'm sure I'm not ready.
You know, the other day, my neighbor came by to play with his son. They've been bugging me to play like almost every day since I invited them to play once, and they said, "Oh, I want to play against Green Goblin." I said, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you
Maybe.
sure you're ready for Green Goblin?" "Oh yeah." I said, "Okay, we're going to lose, but it's going to be fun. Okay." Are you okay with losing? Yeah, okay, it's gonna be fun. And we lost, but it was fun. So
Yeah, no, I have a quick answer to all people worried about balancement and difficulty. The system is so modular that you can really tune the difficulty any way you want. You are having trouble playing against Green Goblin, there are ways to make the fight against him easier. You find that defeating Red Skull is too easy, there are ways to make that fight way harder. So it's a matter of, something we worry a lot is that we want to keep the game always accessible to families playing with kids, parents playing with their kids, to very occasional gamers. And on the other hand, we want the game to be interesting for veteran gamers and people that are really have invested a lot of time and efforts in playing Marvel United. So yeah, that's probably, Helena, the most difficult part of the design and development job, but I think we kind of delivered that.
yeah, and just like so, as we go into the campaign, we're gonna start, and people will want everything, everywhere, all at once. And we do have 3 weeks in which be patient. There's a lot. We have a lot in store, and we want to allow each thing that we introduce and reveal to have its moment in the sun. So just follow, just enjoy the ride, relax. Let's go through this journey together. It'll be fine.
And now we are already over time, so this will be our very last minute. But sorry.
No, just a reminder. So we did have 2 gameplays out already. We had one from Quackalope and one from Board Game Co. already. And by the way, Board Game Co. played against Emperor Doom.
Yeah.
Guys, remember your threat cards. Bams on them always count. Doesn't matter who's there or not.
He's not that easy to
Emperor Doom
defeat.
is not that easy because his threats bamming, they really escalate things. And also tomorrow, I think we're gonna have some Dice Tower playthroughs showing a bunch of new things.
Yeah, things you haven't seen yet. And well, for our last question, I'm sorry, I just could not get this. How is Nightcrawler? Everyone asks, where
He's
is
doing fine.
He's good.
I was so glad to put this behind us. Just don't.
Yeah.
No, he's doing fine now. He's there in the promos box for the X-Men campaign. Just got delivered in many places. So enjoy your Nightcrawler, everyone.
Yeah,
You
he's not
sure
coming
deserve
back.
it.
He's right there.
The true question is, why is Nightcrawler? Well, let's not Drex this and end our live stream. Well, hello there.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
See you all very soon, including you, Galactus, and including you all watching us. The campaign launches in less than a week, and we hope to see you all there. So, bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.